Remember back in the days when you were in junior high school, elementary school, you had these friends. You felt inseparable. You were like, this is my bestie to the end. And then the following week, they just didn't even want to be around you. You're like, what happened? And then you start stressing about it, and it starts consuming you. Never happened to me.
Never?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
It happened all the time.
I was gonna say.
So let's talk about it
Let's talk about it.
on Breaking Formation. Welcome to Breaking Formation, podcast that gives teens, young adults, and even the parents some good advice to navigating this very quick changing world. I mean, it's changing very quickly, rapidly changing world. And I'm Merryl Tengesdal, your co-host, retired Air Force colonel, sometimes a welder.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this.
We're going to talk about this. And I'm here with the lovely Shea Phinney.
Hi there. Good to be here tonight.
Yes, it is a special night.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about it. I want to know.
Okay, before we start, we're just going to talk very quickly. For all those who don't know me, I take welding classes at the local community college, Sierra College. And I do it because I'm a foundation board member, and I started because I wanted to know what students needed to help them the best way. So I took up welding, and I'm deep into welding years later, and I'm taking a metallurgy class, which is a lot of textbook work. So on our off time, myself and another student, we just decided, hey, let's put together a plane.
I love it. I love it.
Don't judge the welds. I didn't do this one, but this one's pretty good. And this one's pretty good. Yeah, some of them are good.
Pretty impressive in my opinion for just, hey, let's build a plane this afternoon.
Yes, this thing is very heavy. It is made of scrap metal, so it's a good 8 pounds, I think.
That's cool.
It's a good paperweight. Next week, we're going to make something to launch it.
Oh boy. The video to come.
The video to come. So let's get into it. Friendships. Friendships, they come and go.
Mm-hmm.
They're like water.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Yes, I'm in my,
Your flow.
I'm in my flow today. So it's like water. The tides are in, the tides are out. But I think when it comes to friendships, especially at this age, and quite frankly, when you become an older adult, losing and gaining friendships could be as tumultuous as being in a relationship with a significant other. There's a lot of drama, and sometimes it doesn't make you feel very good. So, what are your thoughts?
Oh wow. Throw that ball at me.
I just
like
whack.
So you're talking about this age, right? Like I want to make sure I'm
Well, let's talk about kids first, but we can equate it to the same. I think there's definitely a lot of similarities between elementary school. We'll back it up. So when you're in elementary, you find friends, you hang out with them for a day. They may hurt your feelings. They may do something, you don't talk to them. But then the following week, typically you might forget. Your memory's pretty low. When you get to junior high school, in high school, those friendships are more solidified. You want to hang out with them because this becomes your group that you listen to, vice listening to your parents. Like they have all the knowledge, which is totally incorrect.
right.
But, they're your friends. You're not going to listen to your parents. And so when the relationship breaks up, it's very traumatic. There's typically a lot of drama. There's some tears. There's a lot of huffing and puffing. And so it may or may not form. As you get to college, you form friendships, but it's really more because of common interest, ideas. You go to a different club at school, or you do a rec team and you find someone. And those bonds, I think, last as long as the semester, the class,
Yeah.
or the recreation. So there are different ways people will react to those. Fast forward to as you get older, for me, when I got in the military, forming friendships, it was very difficult. I found that people were not very genuine, at least in this area.
Yeah.
So I think I had these thoughts of reverting back to high school. I was like, I don't like this. So what are your thoughts about those things?
Yeah, I really liked how you kind of broke it down. Like, with elementary school, it's like the flavor of the week, right? Like, it's like, we're going to play Foursquare and it's all good. And that's how they bond and join over the Foursquare. Or maybe it's Foursquare and, make believe or whatever. Or like my kiddo, make believe. Like, make believe? Like, play house or like
Oh,
King of the Castle, make
oh,
believe.
okay. I'm sorry. I thought this was another game called Make Believe. I was like, what?
No, or like my son, who is known as Lizard Boy because he would go and try to collect all the lizards during recess.
Did he pull it tails?
He didn't. He would make pets out of them. I would have multiple lizards coming home on a daily basis. But everyone knew him as Lizard Boy, and it was kind of a cool thing. So elementary school, junior high, it's really trying to identify who you are in the group culture where you fit in. And I think you're right about with the high school thing. It's kiddos are starting to listen to their friends a little bit more. But the one thing I feel about with high school is really when you start identifying too with yourself. We talked about it in one of our early episodes about that. The essence that Dan Siegel talks about, where kids start pushing back from all the things, not even just parents, but also their friendships. They're really realizing who they want in their inner circles based on behaviors and things like that. So, and then, yes, at this age, I skipped my 20s, but I was a book nerd, so I didn't really even make friends. I just like
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. I was so driven to finish my bachelor's and my master's, and I was just like, I didn't have a space for friends really. I mean, I had a friend here and there, but my best friend, she and I would just always do things together. But other than that, it was like, I didn't have space for that. Because my priorities changed, right? In school, when I was in school, it was like, get it done. So, and I was terribly shy. So, yeah, believe it or not.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. The more you know.
Well, the more you know. Yes. Still think we should have our question and answer day.
We will have a question and answer day. So we'll talk about that at the end for our viewers. So what can, especially kids, adolescents, do when friendships are becoming different or it's changing, or what are some things that you would recommend?
Well, I think first and foremost is really for kiddos to ask the question like, what's up? Like really, kind of understand what's going on, but also too like what's changing for them individually. Like, is their values not aligning with their friends' values? Where some of the choices their friends are making are not necessarily choices that you individually would make, or that child would make, or that adolescents would make. And start to really kind of do that deep dive. And I think that's where parents and teachers and counselors can also really help kids, is just to get a real clear picture of what their values are, and maybe understand a little bit more why kids might be drifting from each other.
I like that. So we talked about that before, defining what your values are and what what is your boundaries in terms of what's acceptable type behavior. I think as I see my son going through junior high school, you could see the break off of some friends that he has gone away from,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's hanging out more with his theater friends.
Oh, yeah.
And he wants to hang out with them all the time. I just got off the phone with him tonight. He's like, "Can I have a sleepover?" Which we could talk about sleepovers another time. But
That's another whole episode.
that's another whole episode. It's like another 2 episodes. But
Yes.
he really craves that connection with his male counterparts and some of his female counterparts, and I could see them all growing up right now together. It's quite a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice, and as a parent, I know most of the parents in some capacity, so they're just really, it's really nice.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, I love the word connection because I think about as humans, we are born for 2 reasons: to attach and to survive. And we need that connection. We need that, what's the word? Similarity, I guess, that can bond us together, because it really can help shape our identity. I know for me, growing up in Oakland, I was one of maybe 3 girls that rode horses.
Oh,
And so there was no connection over horses. I was just that weird, awkward, horse girl, because there was none of us that rode horses. And that was a really weird thing. And I know for me, trying to get through high school when everybody else was, playing basketball or cheerleading, and here I am going to ride horses. It was a little awkward. There was, I did have my friends and stuff like that, but having that close-knit group, that wasn't a thing that I experienced.
so what do you say to the kids out there that don't have a friend group, that are struggling? Because at these stages, to not have a friend, someone to confide in or be silly with, I think it could be devastating. It could
Yeah.
be incredibly lonely. What are some things that they can do? Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah, put me on the spot. I think that's, again, where parents can step in, is really support their interest if outside of school, because like growing up in my example, I didn't have friends at school, but I did have friends at the barn. And so that's kind of where I established my tribe, if you will, was at the barn with the horses. Although this will be another conversation for another day, like my true connection was with that very unconditional relationship with my horse, and then the kids at the barn were just another reason that I loved going to the barn after school, kind of thing. But I think, one, identifying the interest, having the parents on board to see how they could support them outside of school. I think a lot of kids now are homeschooled or, doing virtual school or some sort of alternative type school setting. So the parents have to be a little bit more invested in getting the kids integrated into things that they like and enjoy.
So I agree. So I like that. My son, for example, kind of had friends at school. Some I liked, some I didn't like. But when he started showing interest towards singing,
Mm.
and then finally I said, okay, you like to sing? Let's play an instrument first. Let's play piano, pick your instrument. We'll see what we could do. And then it came into theater, you know, finding that and seeing that were his interests.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't force him anywhere. I just said, what would you like to do?
Yeah.
And then from there, just to see. I think with my daughter, she takes an interest in flag football, actually.
Oh, she will be great in flag football.
Have you seen her move?
Yeah, she's like a gazelle.
A baby gazelle.
Those long legs.
She's got to grow into them. So that's. So I was looking at first. We have a rule in our house: C's get you no activities.
Mm-hmm.
So she's working hard to do better, and so not that she'll see this, but I was looking into the flag football season when it's starting. Maybe I will sign her up.
I think you should. I think that would be so good for her to have that, like, to get her tribe.
Yes. So she played flag football before, had her tribe, and now she asked, but she's doing better.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see where the grades land.
Yes, yes.
But she's pretty much 90% guaranteed to start. So
Yay.
yeah, I mean, I want her to have a healthy social life,
Mm-hmm.
not hang out with people that are kind of sketchy. So,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I don't want that.
Well, and I think with that, like when kids can identify with the thing that drives them, like, your daughter being in flag football, my daughter being a cheerleader, they can really know what they're not. I think that's really an important thing, is just so they know that, yeah, going out, spending the night out till 3 o'clock in the morning, sitting in the car, just doing nothing or whatever, driving around town till 3 o'clock in the morning. That's not who I am. I'm
Right.
somebody that gets up at 5 a.m. to go to cheerleading or practice or something like that.
Fair enough. And hopefully eventually she'll take a, course in horses.
Oh, my daughter or your daughter?
My daughter.
Oh yeah, she totally should.
Someone's offering some classes every so often.
Every so often.
Every so often.
Yes. Well, and it was so fun. I never, with my kids, like I never pushed the horses, and my son is very much a horse lover. Like he's all the things, right? But my daughter, she's great with them, but she's like has no interest. Mm-hmm.
So find out where the interest lie. Parents, get involved. If your kids are by themselves, find something that they're into and try to get them there. If money is an option, you have community centers. There are other easier, fee-less places to go to. So I think of it, when I think of friendships, I always have to think of it from a military aspect when I talk to my kids. I go, hey, there are times, Ross, you could probably attest, when you're stationed somewhere, you meet people, you meet families for 2 years, 3 years, and then you up and move and you go away. And those friendships end. But do they really end, or is it just taking a hiatus? Because the same people you might be friends with really hard for 2 years and you go away for 5 and you come back and you see them. I don't know. It's always like you pick up where you left off.
Mm-hmm.
And it always seems pretty just easygoing. So sometimes friendships are like that. But I've had friends that I've had to cut off in my life for one reason or another because they did not fit within my values or my boundaries. So.
Yeah, and I think I truly believe like those true friends are those ones that you could go for 5 years without seeing and then just pick up like right where you left off. And I have a handful of those people. Or if I pick up the phone today and call them and say, hey, my car broke down on the side of the road, even though I hadn't seen them in 5 years, they would be there for me.
That's awesome.
And then there are those friends that aren't that way. And so not that you're not a friend anymore, and maybe you're still on my TikTok or my Facebook, on my social medias, but you're not in my inner circle.
When I talk to my kids and they say, well, that's my friend, I go, no, that's your acquaintance.
Yeah.
That's how I define them.
That's totally a good way to put it.
I'm like, they're your acquaintance. They're someone you say hi, bye to, you talk a little bit.
Yep.
They're not your friends.
That is my Facebook friend.
Yes.
Not a true friend.
Yes. So there's my son uses that sometimes. He'll say, he's my acquaintance. And I go, okay.
There you go.
Fair enough. So to be able to define those, you have acquaintances, people who may follow you, but those friends, those are the friends my friends have to be kind of ride or die.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that to that point, I think it's important to help our kids understand what defines a friend to them. What does that friendship look like? What does it mean to be a friend? Not only for that other person, but for them themselves. Like, like what does it mean, truly, truly mean to be a friend?
Do you have let me ask you a question. Do you have certain friends for particular things?
It's funny. That's a great question because when I probably like 10, 15 years, I don't know. I don't want to age myself because I'm whatever. But like I have this one friend who literally she's my everything. Like she's the person I cry to, the person that I vent to, the person that I do everything, right? And then she can give this sage wisdom when I need it. Then I have a friend who is like, will tell me to cut my crap at any minute, like she's just knocked that stuff off. That's not, no, 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 no. And then I have like a friend that I'll go shopping with and we'll, go hiking or whatever, more of like an activity friend. So, but it was really funny because when I was younger, I would really try to put a lot of weight into one friend to be all the things. And that kind of ended up being a setup where I had a lot of expectations for somebody that may not have the capacity to give me all those things. Like my friend that I would go thrift shopping with, she may not be that person that could sit and cry with me when I'm having a bad day. And it would end up being a setup for her and for me. And that's actually how some friendships would end or have a huge conflict because there was expectations that other person couldn't meet. And so really kind of doing a self-examination about what I'm needing in the moment, as well as kind of exploring with that friend, like what is it that they're capable of?
That's interesting. All right. So, yeah, so I would agree with you on those things. I have certain friends that I could call up at any time and say, let's go grab a beer. And I'm a little different. Maybe I'm not as open. Uh, I'm gonna look at Ross for a second. Do you trust all the people you deal with, or are you pretty closed off?
I'm pretty close.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like me. It's the military thing. A little bit. So I'm a little leery. I've been burned a couple of times, especially when I transitioned out of the military. But I do have friends for I would say I have friends that I know their limitations.
Yeah.
And
I
I
think
know
that's important.
There's some friends I would go to Vegas with and party with and have fun. But there are other friends, it's okay if we just go get lunch and we
Yeah.
just talk. And I can have a conversation and talk about things that are happening in my life, but not getting too deep
Right. Right.
because they don't have the capacity to,
Hold that for you.
yes, or maybe their views are, even though we get along, we might have opposing views on certain things. And so I don't want to open up to I've learned to just keep everything I just keep things very tight for the most part.
Yeah, and I think that's having that discernment to have
Yes.
boundaries because again, not everyone earns the right to be in your inner circle, and I think that's going back to our conversations about junior high and even high school. Sometimes those are some of those harder lessons that our kiddos have to learn is, that there has to be some appropriate boundaries and discernment, because Jill may not be trusted with all your deep, dark secrets because she gets her self-worth and her self-identity by being the gossip, you know? And so it is really kind of knowing, like, how do I take care of myself, as well.
And I think from talking to the parents out there, from a parent aspect, let your kids figure this out. Like, it's great to guide them, but it's also great that they have to learn some of those lessons and maybe get hurt in the process or go through why isn't she speaking to me or why isn't he speaking to me? Both of my kids are doing it to me, and I like have to take a towel and bite down because I want to say so much and I want to do so much. Like sometimes they'll say things in the way they feel, and in that moment I'm like, I want to fight that person for you. Like, and in my mind I'm like, Merrill, you're crazy. You don't want to fight another 10-year-old, but you want to like go to their defense and just protect them. But to protect them is to allow them to build up their own defenses. And you have to be able to let them feel those feels and
Mm-hmm.
even though if you go to bed and you're just kind of steaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. You actually just reminded me of a story of my son when he was, I guess, third grade, maybe fourth grade. I had learned of he shared with me a scuffle of him and another friend. And it lit my fire. I was so angry, like so angry. And I'm like, I'm going to tell the teacher and blah, 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 blah. And, we have the real talk. I'm driving, he's sitting in the back seat. That's our real talk time, right?
Right.
And so and he gets real quiet. And he had just told me all about how this kid had called him names and wanted to fight him and all of this stuff. And so I just matched that energy with, I'm going to go fight this kid. I'm going to go tell the principal, blah, blah. Same thing that you were just saying. And I hear this little voice from the back seat. And he says, Mom, it's okay to let me fight my own fights. And I think
Aw.
about that all the time now. And it's really a nice way for me to just remind myself my kids, have to figure stuff out on their own. And my little son, of course, he's in his 20s now and wiser than wise. But I think it is really important to remember that as hard as it is as a parent, because we don't want to see our kids in pain. We don't want to see them suffer, but it is really important for them to learn how to fight their own fights.
Absolutely. And you can't you want to bring all your kid trauma that you had as a kid, I'm going to defend. No, you can't do that. You just gotta let it happen.
Gotta let it happen.
And write a comment and like and subscribe this this podcast.
There you go.
And drop the frustrating thing in your kid's life in the comment section below.
Well, and I was actually going to say, what makes a friend? I would love to hear what our audience thinks about what makes a friend.
Ooh, I like that. What makes a friend?
What makes a friend?
What makes your friend? What makes a friend for you?
Oh, a good question. I think that person that I can call after, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, hadn't talked to, I didn't even respond to their text and be like, hey, you want to go on a hike? Yeah, sure, no problem. Not, why didn't you call me sooner?
Oh, that's weird.
That is weird. I've had friends like that. Yeah. But I think for me, what? Don't do that. For me, consistency is huge.
Yes, I need friends that are consistent and
Consistent.
I have one very good friend. When she gets bad news or is very upset, she calls it "I go in my hole," and so she doesn't talk to anyone for a while.
Oh, is that me? Because that's what I
do. No, this is another friend. So she goes in her hole, and she's consistent. So I'm like, "Oh, you're in your hole." So I'll send her, or she'll send me a text. I'm in my hole, and I'm like. And then I'll just start sending her memes or sending her crazy stuff.
See, and that's consistent. That's the thing. Like when we go in our holes, that's what we need. It's like I see you in your hole, but I will let you come out when you're ready.
Yes. All right. Well, anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. I think hopefully there's some tips that you learned there. Again, to sum it up, number one, friendships ebb and flow.
Like water.
Like water. There are tides in, tides out. They're seasonal. Make sure when you're looking for friendships or you have friendships that they align with your values and that they do not cross the boundaries that you hold in place. And everyone's boundaries are different. No one is any better or any worse. This is just who you are and your values. If they're not aligned with your values, then it might be time to let them go until they grow. I didn't mean to rhyme there.
Wow, that was pretty impressive.
Yes. And come back to them later on. It's okay to pick up a friendship from 5 years later, 10 years later, and pick it back up. So for those parents who have kids or young people who don't have friends, try to find something they're interested in and find a group for them that share those interests.
Right.
And that's about it. Just remember that. Give yourself some grace. Parents, let your kids fight for their friendships or not fight for their friendships. Don't bring your baggage into it. You want to. I know. We've been there.
We've been there.
Don't do it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, and type your comments below about what makes a friend.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. That's all we have for today. Next episode, we're talking about parents
Oh boy.
and mental health.
Ooh boy, that's gonna be fun.
Good times.
All right, thanks friends.
All right, that's it for Break Information. Thanks.